Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2, Sloka number 18. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmadyudhyasva bharata. Lord Shri Krishna teaching to Arjuna, who is suffering with the sorrow and the delusion. From the 12th shloka onwards, Bhagavan started teaching, and in that mainly we have completed up to the 18th shloka. 15th to 18th, what are the main points Lord said? I will just remind you. In this world, all the human beings are having sorrow and the suffering because of what? We say so many reasons, because of his financial status, because of his health status, and because of his family problems, like that. We may say many causes, but here, after started listening to Lord Shri Krishna's teaching, we will come to understand that the reason is this: the only one disease and only one medicine. There are three things we must know. One is eternal, that is ever present Satyam, and the second is never present, which is called Tucham. One is ever present Satyam, another is called Tucham, never present or ever absent. So if we recognize, know, which is ever present, then we don't grieve, we don't become miserable. But what is happening, and which is not there, never present, we don't bother about it because it is never present. Now in between there is one more, which is called seemingly present, but apparently present, but absolutely not present. That means appears and come to existence sometime. That means before it was not exist, now it exists, and afterwards it become non-existent. So which is non-existent, but in the middle seems to be existent, and afterwards again it becomes non-existent, then that is called mithya. That is called mithya. Now, as I asked the question, the cause for the suffering of the human beings is holding on to this mithya, a temporary, which is appears in the middle and disappears later. But so what? Why the misery has to come? Because we human beings want to like to have whatever we have always with us. Whatever we have. What we have the body. So we want the body to be with us always. And we have the possessions. We want the possessions to be with us always. We have the relations and we want the relations to continue. So any one of these, my body including, and my possessions and relations, all this I want to be with me permanently. They should not change. They should not leave me. They should not disappear and disappoint me. This struggle. But what we are liking to have always with us, all this mithya vastu, mithya padarthas are only we are trying constantly and emphasizing that it should not go, it should not change, it should not leave me. This is the cause for the misery. You understand now? So this mithya. Now, to remove this wrong, unnecessary attachment to this mithya vastu, which you cannot change it, which you have no control, which you cannot keep it permanently, you are holding on to that impermanent thing. Then Lord says from 15th Sloka, one by one, my dear, turn your attention. You are having the attachment on this anitya vastu, which is called mithya. None of us are not suffering because which we never know, which it doesn't exist at all. Tucham we are not need not to bother about it because it is not there. And for Satyam we need not to bother because the Satyam never goes, never disappears. But because of the ignorance holding on to this mithya prapancha padartha, that is the cause for the suffering. Now where we have to correct? Correct in this particular place, mithyatva nishchayam. This mithya, I should not have any attachment, expectation, anticipation towards this mithya prapancham. This mithya only is called anatma. So, to negate this mithya anatma prapancha, prapancha means everything your experienced worldly objective world, everything is included. Your experienced objective world, everything is included. Now, let us turn our attention, which is permanent. Now, the question should come whether there is anything permanent which I can depend and lean upon. This world is so beautiful, and there is a beauty, novelty, and variety in this Midya Prapancha. It is so attractive, but only one thing is not there lacking, stability is not there. Then, by depending and lean upon this unstable Prapancha, Namarupa Jagat, how you can be happy and uh, get rid of from this misery, sorrow? There is no way, impossible. So better to search and find out what is then the permanent thing. That is, Lord started telling from the 15th shloka, this Atma, the consciousness is the Satyam, Nityam first. It is Nityam. In 15th shloka, I think it is told Satyam. It is Satyam, ever present. Yeah, 16th shloka, Atma Satyah. And being it is Satyam, then it is, one second, let us make it clear. Ah, sorry. In the first, Lord said Satyah, and then the first is said Nityah, and then it is called Satyah. Second point is Satyah. So Nityam, permanent. And then third, Lord said, this Atma, which is Nityam and Satyam, that Atma is not something else. You are that. The consciousness, existence, you are. That is third point. It is all pervading. Not only yourself, but every body is embodied by the self only. Sarvagataha. It is sarvada asti, sarvatra asti, atma. Recognize that. That is none other than yourself. That is main point. It is none other than yourself. So after telling the third atma sarvagataha, then we have seen in the last class this 18th shloka, atma aprameyaha. It cannot be objectifiable. Atma cannot be objectifiable. Aprameyaha. This word, little bit analyze it. Prameyam means pramana sahitam, whichever is available for the instruments of perception, pramanam, but which is not available for any pramana, any authority of the any perception senses, then it is called aprameyaha. Aprameyaha. Then which is not perceptible or objectifiable through any sense organ, there will be any such thing like that? Yes, it is there. Even though your eyes, nose, ears are not able to perceive that, but you are there. You cannot perceive, you cannot see yourself, you cannot hear to yourself, you cannot smell yourself. Yourself means the nose cannot smell the nose, the ears cannot hear the ears, the eyes cannot see the eyes. So, in this way, all these pramanas are not available there, not defunct. They cannot function there. Then how to find out such a thing? Only by Shabda Pramana, the Veda Upanishad Pramana of the words, you will now recognize that yes, that object, unobjectifiable, unperceivable thing, I myself. Now, to understand this point, let me give some examples. One is the space is there everywhere, Akasha. But are we really able to transact and no, objectify the space in any way? We may say that I am seeing the space. In fact, you cannot see the space. You see the objects which are there in the space, and then you imagine that in between this object and that object there is a empty space. But are you really seeing the space? No. Eyes cannot see. Even eyes cannot see the bacteria, cannot see the virus, even they are moving in front of the eyes. The same way, you are seeing the light which is falling on the object. That's why, because of these objects are there, all the objects are in the space. You are simply telling that, but your eyes are not really able to see the space. So, because my eyes are okay, with your hands, can you touch the space? If you touch the space, that space should move. You can break or cut the space. You can transfer the space. Can you do any kind of transaction with the space? No. But all the transactions are happening in the space. Yes or no? All the transactions are happening in the space. So because the space cannot is not accessible for any transaction by itself, as itself, you cannot deny and say that the space is not there. You infer, and oh, because all are supported and resting in the space, then definitely, even though space is not perceptible for my eyes, or to my ears, or to my touch, or to my smell or tongue, but I can accept it through this inference of Anumana. Is it clear? One example, space. Now, same way, if I am the Atma, if I am the Sarvagataha, how I am not able to know? It is so simple like this. Even though the eyes sees the entire object world, but unfortunately, the eyes cannot see themselves. The eyes cannot see themselves. Whatever may be the big eyes, beautiful eyes, you do anything, the eyes cannot see themselves unless you have the mirror. In the same way, even though I am the Atma and I peep through all the senses, but the senses cannot recognize me. Cannot recognize me. Then how can I recognize myself? I myself, when I am having that feeling, I exist. That itself is the authority. That itself is the authority. Now I will tell in this way. Eyes are seeing all the objects. I'm able to perceive every color and form. But I am not able to see my own eyes. So I will conclude that I have no eyes. No, Anumanam. Because of I'm having eyes, I'm able to see every object, even though with my eyes I cannot see my eyes. But this experience of seeing the other all objects is proves that eyes are existing. In the same way, without me, I any of other transactions, any of the other senses or the body and this world cannot be perceived because I am there. So I don't require any evidence that I am, I exist. Except to get the pension or anything, only they ask the proof of you whether you are alive or not. But I am very much know that I exist. How do you know? I know. What is that silly question? I know that I exist. It is self evident, self proved. My presence, existence is always there. Another example. So I told the space example and the eyes. Now, any photo, you see some picture taken by the camera. Olden days, the people, some cameraman should take the picture. Some cameraman should take the picture. So in that picture, everybody who are all there in front of the camera will come captured in that picture, except one person, the cameraman. The cameraman is not there in the picture. So because the cameraman is not there in the picture, can you say that there is no cameraman is not existing? No. The picture itself is the proof. Now you may say modernly every one of us are having the cell phone camera. We can take selfie. We don't require any cameraman. Now I will ask you here a question differently. Okay, you are also there. You are taking the selfie. All are there in the picture. But is that camera is there in the picture? Tell me. The camera cannot come in the picture. So the camera is not appeared in the picture. So then I will come to the conclusion and say camera is not existing. You won't say. We are not that much foolish. But when it comes to your existence, your your conscious existent being, why there is a doubt to recognize it? Why you are struggling to recognize it? Yes, there is some struggle because we never inquire. We never inquired. Now we are inquiring, Lord asking us to inquire, my dear, in this way. So aprameyaha means no need of any gadget. You cannot measure it. You cannot any do the any transaction and anything. But because of that self, this body doing the transactions. The senses and another body will do the transactions. So again, I will come back to the space example. In this space, so many transactions are happening. So many transactions are happening. Because of there are so many transactions are happening, the space in any way involved in that transactions, space become anytime the karta or the bhokta. No, space never comes under the as karta or bhokta. Now the next shloka, 19th, Lord wants to give another quality, another feature of this Atma, Atma, Akarta and Abhokta. This is the fifth point now we are seeing. Yes, we saw that Atma, Satyah, Nityah, Sarvagatah, Aprameyah. Now today we are seeing the Atma. This Akarta, Abhokta, two words together we can say Atma, Avikriyah. It won't do any action. It doesn't have either a Katrutva or Bhoktrutva attitude, anything. Now let us read the shloka 19. Shri Bhagavan Ya enam vetti hantaram Yaschainam manyate hatam Ubhau tau na vijanitah Nayam hanti na hanyate. First, I will tell you the general meaning of these words. So, in this way, Arjuna, Yaha Vetti, whoever recognize this Atma as himself, which is that having the four features which I have told you, he who considers the Atma in this way and Vetti, one point, one way that means. But here In fact, if you really understand that, then you never think about that Atma in this way. What Atma is involving, Atma is doing, Atma is enjoying. Enam Hantaram, this Atma to be a killer, okay? It will do the killing action, Karta. Or Cha Yaha Enam Hatam, or the Atma to be killed. It can be destroyed. Atma destroying somebody, or somebody can destroy the Atma. In this way, Cha Yaha, and he who manyate considers in this way, in this way, then what? Both of them, whoever thinks that Atma to be killed, Atma is killing, no. Ubhau tau, in fact, really, na vijanitaha. They do not understand, they do not know the Atma. Na vijanitaha. In fact, O Arjuna, I am that Atma nahanti nahanyate. Atma never does not involve in any action. These two words only mainly indicating us Atma is not a karta and Atma is not a bhokta. Nahanyate. Anyata means it is uh, killed by somebody. So bhokta. If somebody is coming to hit me, I am the taker of that hit, so bhokta. The person who is hitting is the karta. In this way, Atma either not doing anything and no one can do anything to Atma. Here, killing is not necessarily one word, hanta. Any kind of infliction. You cannot do any kind of whatever way of disturbance and disintegration to the Atma. So that is the highlighted point here. So with this, what Lord wants to convey, Atma is avikriya. Again, we have to come back to this. That's why I started that space example only, then I am introduced to this shloka. Let us think again. Even though the example is so simple, but one day it should click us and it should apply to our own being. So many transactions are happening now. Lord sun is shining in the. I'm just going from sky to the sun. Lord sun is shining from the sky and is illumining himself and illumining the entire world. Now, in this world, many are doing many things. Many things are happening. In some places, heavy rain. In some places, no rain. In some places, earthquakes. In some places, cyclone. In some places, people are killing each other. In some places, people are doing meditation. Like this, variety and different kinds of these activities are going on. Now, any of these activities or affects the sun, is in any way he is related to these different actions. But without the sunlight and his focus, this cannot function or the visible. After sunrise only, with in sunlight only, no, people are all actively, busily involving and doing their all things. So, in spite of sun is uh, seems to be a cause for illumining the entire this world and the beings, but he is not really doing anything because these things which are all illuminated in this namarupa prapancha midya world cannot never affect the sun whatever he is. In the same way, the space also. space, the earth, water, fire, and wind. These four of them destroy the other one. The wind destroys the plants and the rocks and the sand, or the water will uh, push away, uproots the trees, uproots the rocks and the earth will consume when it become quake. Then all the water is sucked by the earth. So like this, these each four of them, okay, the forest fire, the fire is put off by the wind and sometimes it aggravated by the wind. Think properly. So four of these other elements are keep on affecting each other, occupying each other, then controlling each other, destroying each other, disturbing. But the space in any way involved in any of these things, either as the karta or as the bhokta, it is intact, intact as it is. Now you apply the 4 points. It is nityam, it is satyam, it is sarvagatam, it is aprameyam, and it is akarta and abhokta. If the space and the sun example is properly understood, now let us clearly apply to ourselves. As a Atma, I, I ever exist. Whenever my memory, my mind is functioning in this body, from that time onwards, I know that I am, I am, I am. But that body grown and becoming, growing, and all the modifications are happening in the body. But the feeling of I exist, there is no more change. In the same way, I am the Satyam, and whatever I am seeing, being there constantly keep on changing, they cannot be the Satyam. Whoever is seeing that change, I know it has changed. I know it came. I know it gone. Then I am the only Nityam. Being I am the Nityam, ever present, I am able to see whatever is happening in front of me. Is it clear? Not in front of me but through the eyes. If eyes are not visible, but still I see the darkness. Who? Eyes can't see the darkness. I know that my eyes are not functioning. I know. I is still as it is. Being I am the witnesser and the Sakshi, I am able to. So tell me now, any of these transactions of the body, mind, and intellect complex, many things are happening here. A lot of mess is going on. Some go smoothly, some go with jerks and upside down. What anything can happen because it is a mithya prapancha. Mithya means Maya. Maya itself is that whichever is impossible, that impossible thing can happen. Whichever you never expect, that can happen. So in this Maya, aghatita ghatana patiyasi. Chandra Shankaracharya says very beautifully, it is a make impossible possible and possible impossible. Anything can happen because it is just like that. So don't struggle, don't depend, don't believe on this constantly changing the flux jagat jayati gacchati. But focus attention on you. You are a nitya, satya, sarvagata, aprameya, akarta, abhokta, atma. We have to tell to ourselves. These are all not the words to Arjuna. These are the words Lord telling to me, the essence of the Vedanta Upanishads. This is the Gnanam. Unless if this Gnanam comes, there is no end for the human misery, sorrow. Whatever you may try, whatever, how much you may be rich or well educated, scholarly person, unless you recognize this truth and reject the untruth or mithya, you have to say mithya or anatma, we can never be peaceful, content, happy, and secured. That's why this knowledge is the only medicine that is what Lord is giving. So, akarta, abhokta, atma. So, after telling this fifth, this philosophy you should not take into laukika. One person, a criminal, did some crime and he knows, studied this Gita little bit here and there, heard. And when he went to the court and the judge argued and said, then finally given the judgment that you are going to be punished for your crime. Then that fellow said, the criminal, sir, my dear, your honor, I didn't do anything. I am akarta abhokta. My body only done the action. See, there is a possibility of misusing this knowledge if we are not very clear about it. The judge also not a less, and he also studied Bhagavad Gita. Then he said, yes, 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 I know that you are Atma, you are not done anything. So I am not punishing the Atma, I am punishing your body. What is the moral of the story? That is what Lord said here. If anybody thinks that Atma can be killed, Atma is killing, no. Bodies will fight each other and they will kill each other. That all will happen in this drama. In this drama, in this cinema. But why you are forgetting your own identity and getting lost in it? I will give another example of a cinema screen. The cinema screen, to play the cinema, to run the cinema, we need a screen. On that screen, before starting the film, there is nothing, a big 70 mm white screen. But after that, then the film continue, the cinema. In that, so many emotions, so many different actions, comedy and tragedy and this and that and everything will come. Fighting, this, that, distraction, everything. But while looking into it, by forgetting that everything is happening on the screen, only a pictures, a figures. There is no reality in that. But unreal thing which is happening there, I identify myself and some of those emotions of the hero or heroine, and we will get tears. We went, paid the money, and while seeing the cinema, forgetting the screen, and we scream and come out. You yourself paid the money, you yourself saw the illusory pictures, and after film is over, the screen is intact as it is. The screen is not either karta or bhokta. Are able to grasp it? So, in this way, after telling this fifth feature of the Atma, Now, Lord proceeding further, how come Atma avikriyaha? He wants to elaborate that by giving a nigama vakyam. That means almost exactly what is told in the one Upanishad. Let me read first, then I will remind that. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Being this length of the shloka is different and a little more serious and deeply we are going, the tune also changed. Okay. This shloka is a Upanishadic mantra. That's why we say Nigama Vakyam. Nigama means Vedam. Vedam, Upanishad, Vedanta. Taken from there, which is from Kathopanishad. Except one small word, everything is exactly as it is. That means Lord Krishna also talking whatever is spoken in the Upanishads. He cannot speak something on his own. Even the Ishvara comes in the form of Avatara Krishna Rama. No one can talk anything beyond the Upanishads. Something new. There is nothing new. Truth is always truth. False is always false. Just know that. Clearly know it. So, what is that word difference? Najayate mriyate va vipaschit. That is in the Kathopanishad. नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अयो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Only that kadachit instead of that kutaschit. Both are meaning one and the same. Now let us see word to word meaning first and then little we'll analyze. Here actually Lord wants to say when you want to prove that Atma is avikriya, akarta, abhokta, it should be a nirvikaraha. Nir, nirvikara. So that is the actual point here, sixth feature of the Atma, nirvikaraha. If you want to say avikriya, we must know and prove and say that Atma is nirvikaratvat avikriya. There is no any vikara. Vi, vi, vikruti. Prakruti is got vikruti, and in vikruti there is a vikara. What is prakruti? What is vikruti? Vikara? This body. Not only this micro body, but the macro world also have got the same features. But let us take more particularly from our body standpoint, because this is only become a big obstacle or the hurdle for us, the identification of the body. Considering this is body is as the dehatma buddhi, I am the body. This is the first thing which you have to correct it and delete. Dehatma bhava. Brahmatma bhava should come. Deham is only a belongs to the Prakriti. Prakriti is always with Vikruti. In Vikruti, all vikaras will happen. Now, to make it clear, Lord telling the Shad vikaras of the body and telling that these vikaras, Shad vikaras, are not there in the Atma or Brahman. Don't get confused when we say Atma. When we talk about the individual body or a person, Atma we say. The same thing when we talk in a macro level, in total, we call it as the Brahma, Brahman, Brihat Tattvat iti Brahma, bigger than the biggest, because Sarvagataha. So Atma also same only. There is no any Atma. Apnoti Sarvamiti Atma. So both are one and the same. So Nirvikaraha. Now, what are the modifications comes in the body? Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Nashyate. Now, Lord, negating all these six modifications are not there in the Atma. That's why Atma is Nirvikaraha. That's why it is where there is a Vikara, there is a Kriya. If it should become a Avikriya, it should be Nirvikaraha. Now, let us see word by word. I am this Atma, na jayate. It is never born. There is no birth to the Atma. But bodies are appearing and birth and death is there for body, but for not the Atma. Va mriyate, or there is no death. Because if there is no birth, naturally there is no question of death. See, this birth and death are the complementary things. When we talk about the night, that means there is a day. When we say only day, then it's a. When you say dharma, then there is adharma. So they are the complementaries. But here, this birth and death are complementaries to dvandvas to matter, not for the consciousness or atma. So there is neither birth or the death to the Atma consciousness kadachit. Kadachit. Kadachit means at any time, in three periods of time. Then actually in Atma there is no time. This time concept also comes when the mind starts projecting. Otherwise, in the sleep, where is the time concept? When mind is dissolved in its own source, there is no time space concept. So here, kadachit meaning, actually, Lord says, sarva vikriya pratishedhaihi. This va shabda also cha ardhe, or sarva vikriya means kadachit means all other kinds of modifications also. Because all other kind of modifications, which generally we say, Shiryamana titi shariram, Shadvikara titi shariram, Lord mentioned only two directly, the birth and the death. But in between, there are another four modifications. Before birth, there is asti, it is there. Then it comes. It is there means what? It is formed in the mother's womb. But those things are not explicitly told here. That's why this word kadachit means all those kinds of vikriyas, means modifications. They were all not there. That is what growth also is not there, and the decay also is not there. Then asti jayate vardate, and changes, modification is not there, decay is not there, nothing is there. So all shadvikaras are uh, deleted, I mean negated. That's why uh, then Bhagavan saying again, na bhutva na abhavita va bhuyah. That means it will neither come to existence nor it will disappear again. This bhavita, bhutva, abhavita. This means it never have a question of coming or going, or it will come later. Now there is no modification. After a long time, it will modify. As our body gets modifications, we don't see the modification that much clearly easily in the mountain also keep on modified, that is also keep on destroy, dissolve, decay. So it will neither cannot uh, come to existence because it is ever present, nityam. That's why it never disappear again. So again double emphasis. So what do you want to say? I am Atma, Ajaha, birthless. Okay, Jayate itself is called. Now giving a emphasis. Hmm? Jana Janma. Ajahan means Janma Rahitam. So birthless. Same way, by saying I am Ajaha, I am Nityaha. There is no birth for it. And so there is no death also. By saying Nitya word, we are proving there is no death. It is always there, no death. Same way, it is Shashvataha. Shashvataha means eternal. By saying this word, Shashvataha, na apakshalakshana nasti, decayless, decayless. Now you see all those six modifications also coming with a different words. So Ajaha, birthless, Nityaha, deathless, Shashvataha, decayless, and Puranaha. Pura api Nava iti Puranaha. That means what? There is no growth, growthless. Such a Atma, such a Atma which is free from the vikaras, which is avikriya, na hanyate, hanyamane sharire. When these bodies are destroyed by any way, not only in this war field, now you are doing, whether you kill them or not, these bodies will anyhow perish. Everything constantly dying. Actually, if you see scientifically also, Vedantically, here what is happening? Constantly birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. It is constantly happening. That's why it is called Jagat. Jayati Gachati, Jayati Gachati, Jayati Gachati. But how fast it is going, how subtly it is happening, we are not able to grasp. That's why science doctors say in 7 years of life in human body, all the cells are died and new cells came, but not at a time. That destruction of the cells and construction of the cells. If you take 7 years span, the entire chemistry, I mean, the anatomy, cell, all those cells are died and new cells have come. Now you tell me where is the death and where is not? It is constant happening. That's why it is called, which is under constant flux, change. Can you believe and depend on that constant changing phenomena principle? Why can't you hold on to the permanent Nityam, Satyam, Aprameyam, Sarvagatam, Avikriyam, or Nirvikaram? That is you. So by killing of these, it is now here meaning is na hanyate hanyamane sharire. When bodies are destroyed, here bodies are destroyed means not only exact killing or completely burning or burying. Na hanyate means it is not atma, not affected when these bodies are getting affected. When these bodies are getting affected, this atma is never affected in any way. That's why the space example. Here, the effect is uh, keep on going on. Change is happening. But space doesn't have any effect. In any way, no effect. Whether this Chandrayaan goes and lands or whatever happens, how many, whatever may happen, even these planets and the stars and move and gets bursted, they may all get scrambled, but sky doesn't get any effect. Exactly, I, the Atma, never get affected by the changes of the body. See how a great relief if I recognize that unchanged principle, Atma, Nirvikaraha, then do I grieve and worry about this changing body? Whatever you, how much you grieve, how much you give importance, how much you may struggle, you cannot stop the modifications of the body. What is destined to come, it will come. That's why that body is coming because of some prarabdha karma. Don't give much importance to all of them. Instead of that thinking and worrying, whatever you desire, you won't get, my dear. Whatever you deserve, you will get it. So, once for all, the Purva Janma, Karma, Phalam, next Janma, keep all those things side and focus on this important Tattva Vicharana or the Atma Bodha. So, that is what Lord wants to understand all of us through this teaching. So here, after this is a pratigna vakya. There is no never there is no question at all. There is a death for Atma. There is no maranam, death at all. And it's like pratigna vakyam, sloka. After saying the 20th sloka, the pratigna, so by referring that Upanishad sloka mantra, Nigamana Vakyam, now Lord wants to confirm that about this statement in the 21st shloka also by bringing the seventh feature of the Atma. Veda vinashinam nityam ya enamajamavyayam कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्तिकम्. What he wants to give proof, strengthen the above statement, Atma, Ajaha, and Nityaha. No birth, no death. Veda, know it for certain. Okay? Hey Partha, whoever knows for certain, Kam Saha Purushaha, that wise person, the Vidwan, who listened the Shastra from a traditional teaching methodology of from a teacher, Guru, who comes, whom can that person? Kaha Saha Purusha, whoever may be that person who knows this Atma, Enam, this Atma in this way to be Enam, in this way, this Atma. What avinashinam. There is no decay, death for it. There is no destruction at all. Avinashinam. That's why it is nityam. That means marana bhava rahitam viparinama viparinama bhavam rahitam. Maranam is not there, or decay is also not there. Both the words. So avinashinam, nityam, vikara rahitam, we can say otherwise, and marana rahitam. And that's why it is ajam, avyayam. All those which are the words used so far in the other few slokas, the six features of the Atma, almost everything is brought out again here. It is ajam, birthless, and avyayam, decay-less. And if after knowing this, how can such a one person, a wise who understand this, can think of that hanti kam ghatayati? Okay, this atma can be killed or will kill karta or karayita. Okay, hanti means karta. Kam ghatayati, or it can instigate to kill or kill somebody. Karayita, no. So here kim and katham words are kim antikam ghatayati katham. This kim and katham are both are not to ask as a question how atma can kill and atma can be killed by. It is not a question, but it is a objection. It is not a prashnardhakam. It is a mm, it is akshepanartham, not prashnartham. Akshepanartham, objectionable. Cannot be. Can such a person never thinks in this way? Never to say that. How come such a person then, about knowing of this Atma, can think of Atma? Can no, never. So it is a objection in that way. Lord says, "Kam ghatayati or hantikam." So with this, what is the seventh feature? Not directly said in this shloka, but we can come to the understanding when we grasp one meaning. Atma nissangaha. Nissangaha. When we say akarta bhokta, mean itself is nissangaha. Avikriha mean itself nissangaha. But still here, to establish that Atma ever free from birth and death and decay and all this, this word is internally hiding Atma Nissangaha. So we can take this future as the seventh feature. Very, very important shlokas. This is the all the spiritual life we have to understand and live with this knowledge. More and more clarity will come, more and more. We'll see further in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om Tat Sat.